Hello, in this video let's quickly look at working with 0. So if we take any number and we add 0 to it, the answer is unchanged. We get back the same number that we started with. As an example, we can say that if we take $5 and we add 0 to it, the balance is unchanged. Similar, if we take any number and we subtract nothing from it, we get back the same answer. So if we took $5 and we subtracted nothing, the balance is unchanged. Now let's do the multiplication. If we multiply any number by 0, that answer is 0. Why is that the case? Now let's look at multiplication as multiplying rows by columns. So here we have 2 rows horizontal and 3 columns. And 2 by 3 is 6. We can count. We have 6 little boxes, 6 little squares inside our box. So 2 times 3 is 6. Well, what happens if we take, instead of 2 times 3, we have 1 times 3, which means we have, instead of 2 rows, we only have 1 row. So this is gone. How many boxes do we have? How many squares do we have? Well, 1 row times 3 columns is 3, and we can count that we have 3 little squares left. But what happens if we take 0? If we take 0 rows times 3, what is that? Well, now we have no rows, which means we have no boxes to count. So at this point there are no squares, and the answer is 0 because there are no squares left. So visually that's what happens. When you're multiplying by 0, that means we either have no rows or no columns, which means there are no boxes left. Now we can check this with a calculator, and in case we forget, so here is a number just like we did. Let's say 0 times 3, and the answer is 0. Now let's look at the division. If we divide any number by 0, that answer is undefined. 0 with a line through it means undefined. Also means impossible. Now why is it impossible? Let's see if we actually can convince ourselves why that is the case. Let's take the same number, 6, and divide it by 2. The answer is 3. And we can check that it is 3, because if we cross multiply, we will get a true statement. So multiplying across, 6 times 1, is it the same as 2 times 3? Yes, both ends say 6 is 6, which means yes, it's true. So 6 divided by 2 is really 3. Now let's try the same with 0. 6 divided by 0, let's suppose it's actually possible. So we get an answer. What kind of answer would that be? Well, it still has to be true if we cross multiply. So what does it mean? Well, that means 6 times 1 should be equal to 0 times the question mark. In other words, 6 is 0 times some number. Now how can this be? We are asking to find such answer so that when you multiply it by 0, we get 6. Well, how can this be possible if any number times 0 is 0? How can you take that number times, how can you take anything times 0 and get 6 out of it instead of 0? That's not possible. And because it's not possible, we say it's impossible, and the answer is undefined, meaning there is no such number. That's all this says. This rule says there is no such way to do it, and that's why we say it's impossible. So, calculator, let's look at what the calculator says. Here we take, clear? Let's take 6 divided by 0, and the calculator says the same. Error, divided by 0, not possible. You are attempting to do the division by 0, which calculation fails, because it's impossible to find such an answer. And that's all there is for this video, for how to work with zeros. If you have any questions on anything, please let me know. If you have any of your own questions or examples you would like to see discussed, also send them on. Thank you for your time. Take care.